Hi guys. Okay, good. You can see me on Facebook. They changed the way that I'm streaming. Who's here? I can't see your name on StreamYard. Let me know who's here. Say hello, say where you're tuning in from. Facebook changed the way it streams from StreamYard, and so it's not showing up for me. But I'm glad you can see it. So hello everyone out there. Oh, it's Mom. Hi Mom. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, all of you who are tuning in, whether you're here with me now or here with me now later, right? So one of the things I love about this work is that it's relevant no matter when you take it. Kate, oh my goodness, how are you? I have not seen you in so long. I'm so happy you're here. Beautiful. Yeah, so, anytime you take these sessions and they're available to you on the YouTube channel and the Facebook group, they're available to you to take whenever you need. And what you'll find is that whenever you go to take them, you'll find them to be relevant and exactly what you need at that moment. So allow yourself to explore, to use your heart as the pendulum and guide you to what it is you need to help get you from whatever state that you're in that's uncomfortable to the state that is free from that discomfort into one of harmony, flow, ease, grace, peace, all of those things. So we are in the midst of a storm. So I have it's a puppy party here today. And luckily the hurricane is not hitting us, but we can definitely feel the heaviness of it. And last week, before I even knew about the storm systems coming through, I was out back recharging in the sun like I always do. And we have this beautiful variegated banana tree in the backyard that I just love this tree. And I went over to say hello, and then when I went to sit down, the tree started moving and waving, and I noticed it and took it in, and right after that it communicated to me, and I felt the storm coming, and I felt this darkness, the sky being totally black, clouds overhead, and but I also felt totally fine. I felt everything was going to be fine, that we didn't need to. It's always good to be prepared, but I didn't feel that we would need all of those things. And it turns out that I was fortunately correct in my intuitive assessment of that. And so I think it's a really good thing to bring to light that a lot of times we might feel things coming, right? But are they necessarily a threat to where we are or to our safety? Okay, and living on the road for as long as I did, for several years, I really had to tune that ability to another level of my awareness, because I was constantly tapped into the environment, and we're doing this all the time. Okay, so we might be feeling something and you might not even know what it is, but then, just check in with yourself and ask your body, ask yourself, am I okay? And you'll get the answer. And you'll know when you need to take the steps that you need to take. If it's something that's really a direct threat to your safety, or if it's just something that is in your field and you can choose to respond to whatever is coming in, an intuitive, in a clear, coherent way. And so I'm grateful that we are safe from the storm, and I hope all others in its path are safe as well, and will be cared for by community and by those around them. So let's dive into the drawing. I posted it earlier in the Facebook group, but for those of you who have not seen it, this is today's. So I always love to hear what you see, because everything you see is relevant and appropriate. And I will share my messages soon. So the drawing is a remote viewing tool that helps me get access to the information that we're going to address today. So this is what came through. The messages are all around, but are you looking? Okay, just take a look around wherever you are in your room, whatever space you're in right now. Just gaze around, think about your current situation. The messages are all around, but are you looking? Okay, all that appears is an answer to your question. Everything you have in your experience is the answer to something you've asked, whether you are conscious of it or not, at some point in the past. Lots of points coming in completion. Yes, for the drawing. Okay. So do you remember what you asked? A lot of times we don't. A lot of times these are questions or, things that are happening below our liminal mind. It's subliminal, it's subconscious, right? But they're constantly being asked, and what we're getting is an answer to that. I've been noticing this a lot lately. I'll ask a question. It happens often, but it's been happening frequently in the last few weeks. I'll ask a question. There's something that I'm asking for, and then the answer comes pretty quickly within a few days of my asking the question. And so once the answer comes, then what am I going to do with that answer? Okay, so what am I going to do with it once it arrives? So maybe you can bring to mind an experience you've had where you thought of something and then the answer appeared. You got the message you needed from a friend, you found the right book, the right song came on the radio to remind you of what you needed. Whatever it is, you're getting the answers. You're in this beautiful dialogue with the universe. So once you ask, listen for the answer before you ask again. So we are in a dialogue with the universal mind. We are communicating with ourselves as consciousness all the time. So what happens is we are asking for things. We are asking, and it is given. But we're having a one-way conversation. So what happens is we're constantly asking or constantly talking. Your thoughts are constantly going, and you're not listening, right? We're not listening for the answer. So when you put that query out into the universe, then you wait. You ask the question and you wait to receive the answer. You might receive it that day. You might receive it in a few days. But note the question and then wait for the answer. It's like sitting with someone and having coffee with them, and you're asking them all these questions and you're not giving them a chance to respond. It's the same way with the universe. We're constantly pulsing this information, these vibrations, these questions that we're releasing into the universal mind, but then we're not noticing where they're coming from. And sometimes they're arriving, but we're not paying attention to them because we're expecting an answer to look a certain way rather than how it is showing up. I see this all the time with my acupuncture clients. Okay, they're expecting their healing to happen in a particular way rather than how it is happening. And so they're missing the healing that's occurring. Okay. So when we can kind of open the aperture of our mind and our listening, our inner listening, and taking in things in a new way, right? Then we start to see how things are actually flowing and are moving and are healing and are happening and are showing up for us rather than how we think it should be. It's very limiting, right? We're limiting ourselves. We're confining ourselves to looking at it through this, microscope, when we have this whole field of possibility here communicating and showing us exactly what we've been looking for, but we've been looking here. Okay. Notice when you go out and about into the world and you're walking, where is your gaze normally? Are you always looking in one direction, or are you someone that tends to look down, or do you take in your surroundings and do you look up? How often do you go outside and look up at the sky and really take that in? I came across an incredible rainbow on Lionsgate on August 8th at 7 a.m, out in front of the house. And I went outside and I went back to get my camera. It was extraordinary. Some of you may have seen the photos. And there were people walking down the street, doing their morning walk or driving in the car, which they wouldn't have been able to see. But they were so in their heads, they were missing out on the magnificence of the divine around them all the time. And I pointed it out to this woman who was jogging down the street, and I called her to her attention to the rainbow because it was really fantastic. And she thanked me. She thanked me. I pulled her out of whatever she was in, and her whole being expanded. Okay, so we have opportunities to expand all the time. Whatever's showing up in our world is giving us an opportunity to expand our consciousness. When we take the time to listen in that soft way. Okay, so you'll find what you seek in the pause. That's that listening. That's that pause. So I think we might be playing with that. I do have a question that someone submitted to me yesterday that I'm going to answer as well. But let me review the messages. Here's the drawing one more time. Someone wrote that lots of points coming in completion. Yeah. A lot of energy there, for sure. Okay, so just a quick review. The messages are all around, but are you looking? Okay, all that appears is an answer to your question. Do you remember what you asked? Do you remember what you asked? Once you ask, listen for the answer before you ask again. You'll find what you seek in the pause. And as we're moving into fall, it's the perfect time to be held in that pause, in that turning inward, in that silence as we move towards winter. I love this time of year. I love this time of year and the transition that we make to our inner world. As we transition to the sounds, and I'll answer the question with the sounds. I received a really wonderful question. Where's my bowl? Here it is. I received a really wonderful question from someone about how to, let me read it exactly, about the wish fulfilled, how to access the wish fulfilled, okay, the thing that you desire, that already being true through scripting, through writing. And if you've joined me many times, you'll know that I talk about writing as a way to create your desired state. Let me see. Let me bring up her question exactly. I want to do it justice. She took the time to write, and I want to, here it is. How can we reach the wish-fulfilled state by scripting? How can we reach it's almost a tongue twister. How can we reach the wish-fulfilled state by scripting? Okay, so using writing as a way to access the state of the thing that we desire as if we already have it, it's already here, it's already done, it's already now. There is no past, there is no future, there is only now. Everything is you, everything you experience is your own mind. You spatially place yourself in other times, in other timelines. But that's just your mind. Going to the past or going to the future, but it doesn't exist. Everything is superimposed into one moment, which is the now. So the thing that you desire, the thing that you're wanting, the thing that's calling you to it is actually now. It's not outside of you. It is you. It's coming from within you. That feeling that you're feeling of the thing that you want arises from within you. Everything that's ever existed already existed before it came into existence. Everything that will ever exist already exists now. How do we connect with that? I taught a really wonderful masterclass, and I'll probably be bringing it back again at some point, called You Now. And I go into this in detail, and I teach you how to connect with where your desires reside, which is in the now. And how do we bridge that gap? But for now, let me share with you a quick technique that you can use to do this. What I love to do, the simplest way that I do this is through a process called reverse engineering. Okay, so I write, okay, and I find that when I write, I actually bring things into form, into manifestation a lot more quickly. Depends what I'm doing, but if it's something where I feel that it takes more energy for me to create, which it really doesn't, it's just a belief and a limitation in my thinking that makes it so, I do the writing because I'm able to access that reality, that parallel universe where that version of me already exists, and I can channel it and bring it in through the pen. So let me share with you a couple of ways to do this. One is an exercise that I learned from Natalie Goldberg. She's a Zen Buddhist, and she teaches writing as a form of her practice, and it's a stream of consciousness exercise. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes. You have a pen and a paper. I don't find it works as well with typing, but you try. I find that when I'm writing, I have the direct connection to my heart, and I can access that state of reality, that consciousness, a lot more easily. There's something about when you're writing, for me, the experience is when I'm writing, I'm actually programming my reality into the universal mind. I'm inscribing it. I'm imprinting it. okay? And the heart channel actually extends out through the hand, okay? It comes out through the fingers, through the center of the palm, okay? So when you're holding your writing instrument, you're actually literally connecting with your heart, okay? So it's like the heart communicating on paper. It's a very powerful practice. So you have your timer set 15 to 20 minutes, and you begin to write of yourself, isn't it wonderful that I, okay? You have a starting sentence. I would love it if. I would love it if is such a powerful way to invoke your imagination and to connect you with those places of the things that you desire, where you get a lot of information. I can't tell you how accurate it is when you start to do this, okay? I'm amazed myself every time these things come into being, okay? I've written about things a year ago and I described them to a T, and they're showing up in my life now, okay? To a T, I describe people, okay? Places, things, okay? So you begin to write, I would love it if, or isn't it wonderful that? And you start writing, and you do not pick up the pen off the paper. It doesn't matter what comes out, you keep writing. This is the key to this kind of writing exercise. You want to get beneath the monkey mind. Okay, and you will be surprised at what you begin to excavate and what's there. And not only that, it will connect you with that reality where that version of you is living out that life that you don't feel you are living right now. You are here. That version of you is somewhere else. There is a gap, right? There is a disconnect. You are placing your version of you somewhere outside of what you're currently aware of. You're just not aware of that reality of you yet, but it does exist now. So when you begin writing, what you're doing is you're accessing that level of consciousness, that reality, that parallel universe, that version of you that's already there, and you're connecting with it. How do you know that you're connecting with it? For me, when I'm doing that exercise, what happens is I'm writing, and then I drop in. For me, it's actually a palpable, visceral feeling. Like I start writing on the surface, and then boom, I drop in, and then instead of me kind of pushing the pen off the paper, my pen is being pushed along the paper, and there's a change in the current that's coming through as I'm writing. Okay, that's very important to notice when you connect. It might be different for you. I'm giving you an example of my experience of it, so you might notice that as you're writing. Okay, so in the beginning, it might feel like you're grasping for information and you're making it all up. You're making it all up anyway. You're making this up. It doesn't matter. Make up something that you really want. Make up something better. Okay, so just whatever comes through. And then you'll notice when you connect. For me, then I start to receive information and I begin to write. And I almost sometimes write faster than what I can consciously grasp that's coming through my mind. So I'm noticing it coming through at the same time that I'm writing it. So that would be a practice to connect with the state of the wish fulfilled. You will begin to get information and things that will happen, what it looks like. I've done this to create homes for myself in a competitive rental environment market within 3 days in the Bay Area. And I described the landlord. I described they had dogs. I described I had everything I wanted. I mean, you can get specific. So you can use this to your advantage. So scripting the wish fulfilled, that is one way. The other way to do it is to write from the place where you already have that. So you just start connecting, like you can do a review, like, oh, this year has been amazing. You write it from the version of where you are now, having already completed. So you're writing about it from in the past, like it already happened. And you will also get information of exact steps. I use this for all my master classes when I'm putting it together, the content that I'm supposed to teach that day. I'm given that information. I receive that information when I am writing from this reverse engineering way, from me remembering what I did that day. You can do it day to day. You can look back on the last 3 months, on the last 6 months, on the last year. Really powerful stuff. Okay, so we're talking about messages today, and they're all around and they are you. They're all around, whether or not you see them. They're in the visible world and in the subtle world, in the world that you're not seeing with your physical senses, but you can see with your extra senses that you can connect to. And when you connect to that, you start to embody that vibration. The more you connect to that state and you embody that vibration, then it imprints itself, just like you were imprinting yourself on the paper. You're imprinting the consciousness around you. Everything is consciousness. You're imprinting consciousness with that vibration, and it begins to mold itself to you in physical form. So you begin to bring it into form. You're aligning and tuning your awareness to that reality by being in that vibration, and you can connect with that vibrational reality, that parallel universe, through writing. Any questions? There's a lot of information. It came through very quickly, but it's very simple to do. Feel free to send me a message if you need any more clarification, or you can put it in the comments. But basically, stream of consciousness exercise, just connect, write, see what comes through, or reverse engineer. Start from here and remember what you did to get to that point, and you'll see how things happen. It's quite fantastic. I use it as an intuitive tool all the time, rather than me try to figure things out. This is one of the tools that I rely on all the time to get the information that is supposed to be presented that day, and it works amazingly well. So let me know how that works for you, dear ones, and what messages you receive. You know, sometimes it's hard to get clarity when we have a lot of emotions that are invested or in the way, and you're not sure what to trust. But you can always trust your body to tell you the truth. The body never lies. The body never lies. So when you begin to cultivate this beautiful relationship with your divine vehicle, your physical form, and you understand how it's communicating to you, and you begin to dialogue with it, not just the universal mind, with your body, then you'll always know what to do and when to do it. It takes the pressure off. You have the information you need at your disposal. This is your navigation tool. The heart, I just read this really interesting statistic the other day, that the heart can actually see 6 seconds ahead of what appears. I don't know how they calibrate these things. I know from my experience being a clairvoyant, I can see a little bit further than that. But, you know, I definitely use the ability of my body to assess how the space is and if it feels safe for me or not. Where do I want to sit when I enter a room? You know, when is it time for me to go make dinner? When is it time for me to, you know, start work? When is it time for me to schedule a client? I use my feeling body all the time to make those decisions with me. I work in congruence with the part of me that knows. I am servant to my heart. I serve my heart. I serve the source that comes through me. And that's how I make my choices. When I used to do it the other way, and I still do it sometimes, but I notice when I'm coming up against myself, you know, there's this inner tension that occurs, you know, and I'm trying to think my way through. I'm trying to push, okay? And it gets you so far, and it can cause a lot of stress. But when you start to become servant and you become a receiver for the information, and you take inspired action from that place, it becomes a lot more effortless. It becomes a lot more effortless. Okay, dear ones, so I invite you to try that. Let me know how it goes. And, you know, if those storms that you're feeling, check in and allow your heart to lead the way. The part of you that knows. There's a part of you that knows everything. You are divine. You are of source creation. You are that in physical form. So you have access to all of space and time. You have access to everything, because everything is now. When you understand how to, you know, discipline your mind to place it in different aspects of time and universes and stuff, you can go anywhere. You have access to everything you need. You know exactly what you need to do, when to do it, and you'll know how to discern what's true and what's not. In this age of misinformation, I think that's a skill that needs to be taught. Okay, we need to learn how to discern, and the body never lies. Trust the body. Trust the body. Trust the body. Sometimes it's bringing up information that, you might need to clear and heal and resolve. And, your body's going to communicate different messages for you at different times. But once you understand the way your body communicates with you, then you know how to use it as the consciousness tool that it is. It's a beautiful conduit for life to flow through you. And when you start to insert your ideas, your expectations, your unhealthy inner dialogue, your judgments, your criticisms, your fears, all of those things distort the way that this life force flows through you. And that's where disease and disharmony is created by those intersections, I should say, or interference patterns, right? But when you learn to set those aside, you just set them aside and you focus on just the receiving of yourself, of that vital life force, and attune yourself to vibrational health and harmony, things will start to flow a lot more easily. You connect with your higher self, your inner guidance, your guides, your wisdom, your gifts, your genius, community, light-minded people. You become a magnet to things. You operate in harmony with the laws of the universe. Okay, this is really what we're striving to do here each week, is to take something that is not flowing and restore flow. It's just the basic premise of what we do together each week, and we do it in a myriad of ways, but we're always restoring that through sound, through the perspective practices that I call light work, through breathing, which we didn't do today, through writing, through movement, through art. There's so many different ways. So let's have fun with it. It's all a game. So let's play the game of life, and I hope you enjoy your beautiful day, dear ones. Thank you for coming together with me to harmonize the nature of oneself. And if you feel inspired to share this with others and let the light shine on through you, by all means, share, subscribe, like, whatever platform you're on, invite others to play with us. The more, the merrier. We shine more brightly together. And I wish you a beautiful day. Blessings.